Hello and welcome to another game of League of Dracula. This is my last game as part of the League phase, and it is against Pizzawizard. This is also the first time I'm recording a video. Well, yeah. So hopefully it goes well. Yeah, so this is against Pizzawizard. He is a very good player, particularly as hunters. We'll see in a moment, but he's adopting the Pizzawizard start, as one could anticipate. This is we've already played once when I was hunters. I was given lots of very good encounters, and I threw them all at Dracula's face in a rather rash way. Not terribly pleased about how I played that game. Hence, it's not making its way to YouTube. You can check out Pizzawizard's perspective for that. But for now, let's work on what we're doing here. So we have Bats, Reckless Ramp, Aristocratic Ramp, Fog, and Mob. So we could put down Rumoured Aristocratic, hide Bats on top. Could do that in Lisbon. Or we could start in the East. Those seem like the good options. I am going to skip the recording ahead so that we haven't got to sit through me thinking about this for more than 5 minutes. We'll see what we do in a moment. Okay, we have gone for Alicante. The idea that we're going with is we start in Alicante 1. We are going to wait until Pizzawizard draws hired scouts, where he will check Lisbon and Granada. And then we're going to go to Lisbon and Granada. Hopefully he doesn't draw newspaper reports. The first hired scouts will miss in Spain because I'm not in Lisbon or Granada. The next hired scouts will check for East because presumably he has to check the East. He won't draw newspaper reports, and I'll get a lovely setup. But for now, we are not going to Lisbon and Granada because we're waiting for the hired scouts to be drawn next round or the following round. And the base plan is to put an aristocratic vampire in 31, and then if there's no hired scouts, we will wait in 31 by putting Bats down on the hide, rumour the vampire, and score 7 points. If there is a hired scouts, then we can move on to Lisbon and Granada. It is Lisbon, right? No, Cadiz and Granada. Yeah, Cadiz and Granada. So, step 1, using the wolf form. Hopefully he's confused. Maybe not. In any case, it might give him questions about not wanting to use newspaper reports if he gets it on 3 on my starting location. Because it really doesn't help with, well, it potentially doesn't help with finding where the first real encounter is. But yeah, that's the plan. So I'm recording this retrospectively. I'm adding my commentary retrospectively. So I've already watched Pizzawizard's perspective. And yeah, I can tell you now he's very confused by this wolf form. And he still chooses to check Cadiz and Granada. Fine, very reasonable. When he later determines the time in Spain, he will know that he's able to get Seward there with a 3-2 ticket in one turn, which is Fine. This was expected. So now we've got our decision time. Do we hide, put an aristocratic down, rumor it? It'll probably mature. Like, it's pretty hard to get 2 hunters to Lisbon by round 6. But then, like, we've got to actually, like, when we actually have to mature the vampire, right? If we're hiding on top of it, we don't have to, but really we should. And then we lose all of our starting trail. Or he's just checked Lisbon and Cadiz and Granada. Start going to Cadiz and Granada now. Plan to walk in a circle. Obviously, we're going back to Alicante. That's why we're not misdirecting it. And then we can come back to Lisbon. And yeah, it would be much better if there wasn't an aristocratic vampire in Lisbon. Like, a different encounter would be better. But yeah, he's just checked Cadiz. Maybe it's a good time to go to Cadiz. Oh god, I do play slowly, don't I? Yes, everyone knows that I play slowly. I think a lot. Do we hide? Do we play? Do we go to? If we do go to this, what do we put there? Do we put? Okay, I think obviously we don't put mob. I think mob is a poor choice. We could put a vampire, like a fighter vampire, but I don't want to. My plan is I'm going to put Baxit, and then if they try and deal with it, if they fear it's a hoax, then I will bat them out of the way and keep walking through my lairs. Yeah. So currently he has no idea where I am. Life is good. Lord Godalming discards garlic and garlic grief. Excellent. I learned nothing. And he has newspaper reports, which he chooses not to use. Fine. Kind of happy with that. I think it's like a good decision. Like, given I wolf formed between encounter Alicante where there's no encounter and somewhere else, saving newspaper reports for the proper encounter makes sense. But then he draws another newspaper reports. Fine. Okay, so I've now either gone into Spain, but not Cadiz or Granada, i.e. the 2 dangerous spaces. So after Alicante, I've all formed either into Spain or out of Spain. I think into Spain is the more logical choice. Like, what kind of insane person would start in Alicante and wolf form to 54? You're just running into the hunters. Like, it's just not a very good idea. Like, okay, sure, sometimes you can try it for variance, right? And they won't predict it, so maybe it's okay. But you just give them so many movement actions back by not making them walk into the extremity. Okay, Mina has... I can't read what she has. We will be in a mystery as to what event Mina has. Was that Surprise and Return? Or, no, Chartered Carriage? Yeah, I think it was Chartered Carriage. When we see Mina later moving by Chartered Carriage, we will presume that was the event she had. Right, so to Madrid. Obviously, we're not hiding, or to Granada. I don't want to move to Granada and then to get dunked on by Steward moving to Madrid. He almost certainly doesn't. But it would be absolutely crippling. So I go to Madrid first. Rumored a vampire. I hope that he goes and deals with this, eats a steak, and then he moves on, and then I can go back to it. That's the hope. If Seward wants to deal with my trail, and then I'll put down twice as much trail behind him. Okay, Holy Circle, Crucifix behind the veil, there goes my fog. Fine. I get Soil. Soil is not bad. Especially if it's Seward dealing with it. Like, Seward's only supplied, like, well, by the time Seward wants to start dealing with the trail, he only supplied like 5 times. Probably doesn't have Heavenly Host. Yeah. And all of these discards are currently from Godalming and Mina. No, I suppose, but yeah, all of these discards are from Godalming and Mina because Svenhausen just moved, and so it is an extra item slot. And it turns out they're discarding the bad items. I have learned nothing. Good. Yep. Mina scans. Clearly her tickets are fine. Clearly he's found all the white ones. Otherwise he wouldn't be scanning with Mina unless she had both white ones, I guess. And even she doesn't have any yellow twos unless she wants to keep them to move to was Genoa 25. Ah, right. We need to move. We actually have turns. Yeah, we go to Granada. We've got a bats in 12. If we put, maybe hoax, maybe vampire in 26, or we don't have a hoax, so let's put vampire. And let's bat for when they jump onto a 12 to get in the way of that. Let's push into 26. Sounds good. We get a night fight. Yeah, and obviously next turn we are committed to hiding in 26. It's actually a little risky now that I think about it. If he draws hired scouts here, does he check Granada? Probably. Like maybe check like Granada and Madrid is very logical. And then I guess I would feed because I couldn't hide an encounter card down. Yeah, bit inconvenient now, if you did draw hired scouts. But now does Mina have chartered carriage? Is that what that says? It looks, it's probably chartered carriage, right? I think it is. Okay. Okay, a blood transfusion in the bin, fine. That rifle must have been dropped by someone. I missed who dropped that rifle. Well, that wasn't Van Helsing. I will go and check who dropped that rifle. It was Mina who dropped the rifle. Mina dropped the rifle, and that is a chartered carriage from Mina. Mina's now showing pistol? Have you just dropped a rifle? Did you just trade? Yeah. We'll log it down and trade. Log it down and just trade it. Fine. So the items weren't cooperating. We hide a second vampire in Granada with our bat in 12. Maybe we can kill Van Helsing, or maybe we can even try for killing Stewart. Okay, newspaper reports on Lisbon. Fine. He knows I went deep into Spain. He could have guessed anyway, but guessing is bad to guess wrong. So yeah, it makes sense to use newspaper reports. Okay, Lord Godalming has a horse. He is mobilising towards me. That is okay. He is still far away. Seward, where are you going? You going to Lisbon? I want you to go to Lisbon and stake it. You have a slow pony, not a fast horse. That is very good. It's even better for me for you to do nothing and move somewhere you didn't want to move. And he walks in, I don't know, quote unquote, the wrong direction. He's walking away from me. Presumably, item distribution not great. Van Helsing jumps to Saragossa, and Mina's spending that chartered carriage that she has. Presumably to Marseille. Okay, let's think about Van Helsing in 48. He now pretty much knows my trail. Okay, no, he doesn't, because I can't have gone to 8 yet actually. So I've moved 4 spaces from Lisbon without really going anywhere. Okay, he does not yet know my trail. When he moves to Madrid, he will learn my trail, pretty much, up to 2 possibilities. Mina has good luck and a pistol. That is fine. Obviously, we return to Alicante. That's the only choice here. We're not feeding, we're not playing dark cool. We return to Alicante. That's why we didn't miss the access at the start. Yeah, not really sure what's best to put here. What do I go for? Spy and Wolves? I have no real investment in this location. I mean, if I had like bats and hoax, I might put down bat and hoax. So when someone goes here, I can bat them into my vampires in 26, and then if we don't go here, I'm sure the hoax. But no, I think Spy and Wolves. That's fine. Lord Godalming has a second slow pony. Good. Well, there is a second slow pony and Lord Godalming has it. That's good. Seward. Where does Seward want to go? Does he want to come into Spain or to Marseille? Because last turn he walked in the direction of Marseille. So presumably he wants to walk to Marseille unless something has changed. I will drop a spoiler for Pizzawizard's perspective. Mute me for the next 30 seconds if you don't want to hear something that Dracula doesn't currently know. Okay, so you're muted if you don't want to hear. Seward has 2 horses, so he's moving them right so that he can give a horse to Mina. It makes sense. Okay. Was that 30 seconds? How long? Right, well, we're done with the spoiler warning. That's finished. You can unmute now. I'm hoping I should have started looking at 30 seconds. We'll keep talking about how we're done until we're sure that 30 seconds have elapsed. No more spoilers. Good. Right. Van Helsing has moved onto Madrid. I don't ambush because this is a damage dealing encounter. If I ambush, it does 1 less damage because you can heal at night. So I don't ambush. Good. It's a bit of a shame that Van Helsing is there. I'd have rather Seward got hit by 4 damage than Van Helsing 3. But maybe I shouldn't mind. Yes, and now I throw shade at Pizzawizard. Yes, he bothered to use a newspaper report to learn where Lisbon was, which makes complete sense. You want to know where the first encounter is, work out where the trail is. And then he didn't bother to go and deal with it, despite the fact there being a rumour token on it. I don't think this is unreasonable. I think this is perfectly sensible. We want to use the newspaper report to find out where the trail is. We've then learnt that Dracula doesn't really care about this encounter, as Dracula has put this encounter somewhere where Seward can move in one space to it. And then we've decided that, so therefore it might well be a delaying encounter, fog, saboteur, bats, rather than something an encounter we have to deal with. And second point, if I do mature this vampire, my board position is really, really bad. He doesn't know how bad it would be yet. For me, it's disastrous because of the route I've taken. Because I've hidden in Granada, maturing this vampire would wipe the entire trail apart from where I currently am. Because Granada gets cleared and then the hide that's currently attached to Granada would be floating. Even worse, he can work out where the trail would be. There's currently only 2 possibilities to the trail. Either I've gone 31, 47, 34, and then either Cadiz Granada or Granada Hide, or I guess it's 3 possibilities, or I've gone Lisbon 31, 34, 12, and then Granada Hide. In any case, the only possibility for a floating hide is in 26, given that it can't be in 34 or 48. And the only place it can be before Alicante is 26. So if I mature the vampire, he walks to 26, learns there's nothing there, and realises that hide is on the trail and not attached to anything and can be ignored. So, yeah, the trail will be completely cleared. I'd be in Spain with 3 angry hunters in Marseille and 1 less angry hunter who can stand still in Madrid. So I'm forced to lair the aristocratic vampire. So we put a spy there, we get a bats, and we wolf form back to Lisbon. Obviously we need to put the rumour token and 2 encounters on the trail. Like, going wolf forming somewhere else is silly. We shouldn't die this turn because we'll be standing on 3 encounters. Hunters should be scared. We're saving our bats for next location. We're saving our vampires for not here. We could have put many vampires here, but we didn't. So we're not putting 1 vampire here, 1 extra vampire. Yes. And Pizzawizard is saying that he didn't need to go deal with my vampire because clearly it wasn't an actual threat. Okay, he discards dogs and bullets, that's fine. They traded while they were in Marseille. Right, a side note, just a shameless plug for the Oktoberfest start. The Oktoberfest start is where you have the three which are currently, or were a moment ago, in Marseille. They start in Munich, and Van Helsing starts in London. Given the item distribution Pizzawizard has had, he would have got to Spain quicker if he started with the Oktoberfest start. You can realise this because Seward has started in Bordeaux and moved to Marseille, which means this would be just as quick if he started in Munich and moved to Marseille. And then the other two have started in Vienna and gone to Marseille, which is, it would have been quicker if they were in, or quicker for Lord Godalming, and exactly the same with Mina with her chartered carriage to get to Marseille. And then they would have had better item distribution by trading in Munich. So, shameless plug, given how it turned out, would have been better with the Oktoberfest start. Van Helsing searches with a stake and then discards his bullets. So he literally had a stake to deal with Lisbon and didn't want to use it. Fine. But he has a stake now, and he will not want to move next turn because he wants to supply in Madrid. Yeah. Mina at this point is showing horse. Right, what have we got? We have Hoax, Bats, Reckless Vampire, Rats, and Aristocratic. So I want to put, presumably, Hoax and Bats in Cadiz. Which one do we definitely want and won't change our mind about after we see one more card? Probably Hoax. We see Fog, definitely not putting that here. I mean, if I get jumped by 4 hunters next turn, then I die. That's fine. I don't think they're going to jump me next turn. If they do jump me, hopefully I'm okay. Maybe I don't die. If I have 2 bats, they'll be jumping me over renewed vigor. Hopefully I can push 2 of them out of the way. And then not die. Take a renewed vigor to the face, not die, not too bad. So obviously we move to Cadiz. What do we put here? We put down the bats, and then we've got a threatening Hoax in the edge of the world. You know, Lisbon and Cadiz and Granada are the 2 extremities of Spain. I know they don't look like the extremities of Spain, but they are more extremal than Lisbon, for example. So they will have a threatening encounter protected by 2 delaying encounters at the extremity, and these bats can send people into a pair of vampires. Seems pretty good. Once we decide that we're putting down bats here, I guess we're thinking about, are we going to get jumped? But we should be fine if we are jumped. Hopefully the bats can save us against, because we can bat them away immediately if they use renewed vigor. And if they don't use renewed vigor, we're fine. Probably. I guess it's possible to die. Like a sense of emergency. Horse move. But Van Helsing only has a stake and something. So, worst case, he's doing like 4 damage, 5 damage to us. I think we'll be fine. I mean, hopefully we get kills from if they jump us, the bats will get kills next turn, providing we survive. Okay, Lord Godalming drops 2 rifles. We saw a rifle dropped earlier. So firstly, Lorcadamon's items must be like at least kind of decent. Probably has a knife. Or maybe he just has the fourth rifle, but yeah, probably has 3 items from knife, horse, heavenly host, stake, final rifle. Seward moved, Van Helsing supplied. Seward once again rolled slow on his pony. And Mina. Where does Mina want to go? So, right, now is the time we're supposed to talk about. He doesn't know where my trade is precisely yet. Either I've gone up to 47 and then down to Madrid, or I've gone down to 12 and then up to Madrid. That was after Alicante, so after Lisbon. Either I've gone up or down, he doesn't know. If I have gone up, then he also doesn't know if I've hidden in Granada or not. Van Helsing heals, other people do irrelevant things I didn't catch. Mina searches. Probably should have ambushed with the spy, like, just if I don't get dunked on by dogs, but she's not going to have dogs, is she? Like, probably should have ambushed with the spy. But I didn't want for him to ignore it. Like, if I ambush with the spy, does he realise that I clearly don't have anything that he needs to search there? Like, Madrid, we're presumably not going back to Madrid, but maybe we are. Either way, don't want to put a reckless vampire there, or a new vampire. Aristocratic is even worse than rats. Don't really want to put fog there when I'm probably not going back there. Right. I don't want to leave Spain yet. So I tell hunters that they have stuff to do, but they will do that stuff while I'm still in Spain. So I feed, get 2 hit points back. I would hide if I had hide available, but I don't have hide available because hide is still in Granada. But feed, we get 2 hit points back. That's good. We're still standing on 3 encounters, and he doesn't necessarily know where we are. We could be in 47 or we could be in 12. He discards the final rifle and a heavenly host. Wild. Okay. So presumably he has horse and then 2 items out of heavenly host knife, stake. Being the only items that are traditionally better than heavenly host. Or better or tied better. Seward moved to 47. I could have been in 47. I guess he was willing to take a 3v1 fight if he didn't have to expend resources to get there. But equally, I could have been sitting on top of 3 vampires. I could ambush him. I get like 2 points from ambushing of 2 reckless vampires. But if he's walking here, then he's walking here to search, right? Does he have a stake? If he doesn't have a stake, then I should be able to kill him. And if I do kill him, then like the board position suddenly starts looking pretty good for me. Mina, we know she hasn't got a heavenly host, so we can trigger a desecrated soil just fine. Get an extra cycle out of that. We check, yes, we don't want to have 2 aristocratic vampires in our hand, so definitely ambushing with the soil. Could ambush with the spy as well. It will catch her knife, which would definitely make hunters weaker, make it more possible that I can go to Madrid next turn. But I choose not to. Because I want them to still be unsure as to what's... I want them to fear that I could have 2 vampires there, and therefore we need 2 stakes in order to search it and clear it. We keep the bodyguards rather than desecrated soil because we believe that there's a chance that Mina's going to search at night, donk into the spy. She's not going to search at night because it's a rumoured vampire. Could therefore be a fighter vamp. And she hasn't got a stake because we know that she's got horse, knife. Yeah, okay. So I no longer like my decision to keep the bodyguards because the plan was Mina loses her knife to the spy and... Van Helsing has searched. He's seen that I have 2 reckless vampires here and he has 7 hit points. What do we go with? Well, we've got claws. Claws are pretty good. Mesmerize is pretty good. Fangs, obviously not that good. We want to kill Van Helsing. We have 2 fights, hopefully. We don't know we're going to get the second yet. He could have escape route. This is the real vampire, the one that's on Alicante, on Granada. The vampire who'll be fighting second is the Hyde vampire. So we have Mesmerize, we have Claws, we have Strength, we have Plotting. Playing Mesmerize or Claws is almost certainly our best decision. And Mesmerize has the greatest upside, I guess. We can Mesmerize and then we might get more than 4 damage in this combat. Which, if we draw a poor combat hand for the next encounter, we will need to get more than 4 damage here. Okay, we have Plotting, we have Strength. We're not playing Claws now because he might dodge. Claws is our best attack card, does 4 damage. So we're playing Plotting or Strength. I think he's going to punch because if I plot, then he will almost certainly die. If I plot into dodge, then he almost certainly dies. So I think he punches, or I think he will punch, so I play Strength. Strength into Knife. Okay, he's down an item. I don't think Knife was a good move there. Given that I'm playing, unless he has another anti-fang item, then I'm playing Plotting or Strength if I have them. Like I had a choice to make in the previous round because I had both of them. But if I just had one, surely I'd just play that one. And unless he has another anti-fang item, like a second knife or a crucifix. Crucifixes, I believe, at least one is in the bin. Right. Anyway, more on that later. But now he has dodge and escape in hand. So obviously if he escapes, I want to play Claws. If he dodges, I want to play Plotting. I think he's going to dodge because he really doesn't want to get caught by Claws. So therefore I should play Plotting. But I will feel really stupid if he plays escape into my plotting, and I get nothing other than the 2 damage I've already got. So I play Fangs. If he does escape, I at least get a point and he gets bitten. If he doesn't escape, if he dodges, then that's fine. He dodges out of his hand. He now presumably doesn't have an anti-claw item, so we play Fangs. Like, dodges on the table. He doesn't have an anti-claws item, so we play Claws. Dodges on the table. We've broken his knife. He presumably didn't have a knife pistol. And we get 4 damage. Good, very good. So even if he has great strength, we have decent odds of killing him in the next combat. We just need to resolve Claws. Or, failing that, do 2 damage and make him spend great strength. Hopefully no escape route. Please no escape route. Good. No planned ambush. Good. Okay, now show me 2 claws, please. 1 claw. And if we could see the rest of the hand. Okay, the rest of the hand, I'm pretty sure it's like escape, escape, plot, strength. No. Escape, plot, plot, strength. So we have a conundrum. Do we play obviously we don't play strength, right? He's coming either dodge or escape. So if he's playing dodge and we play claws, we might not even get an attack card to attack him with that can beat escape next turn. So if we waste our claws into a dodge, then we might fail to kill Van Helsing. If we plot, being the other thing we could do, into his escape, then we definitely fail. Yeah, and I think it's pretty obvious that he doesn't play anything other than dodge or escape. Like, he just ends up losing against things that he doesn't have, losing against Dracula hands that he doesn't have to lose against. If he plays a punch, or I guess he hasn't got another anti-fang item, and he hasn't got an anti-claw item. Otherwise, we would have seen them already. No, we might not have seen if he had another anti-fang item, because we didn't play plotting into the knife. Right, yeah. So the thing I got sidetracked on, because the game kept progressing, when he played knife, I think it's only good if he has another anti-fang item to follow it up with. Because I'm playing either plotting or strength in that round when he played knife. And if he does 2 damage to me with a knife into my plotting, then there's only any follow-up if he has an anti-fang item. Otherwise, I can just get my health back. Right, I go with claws into escape. Good. Mission accomplished. He doesn't play great strength. I guess I now don't know whether Van Helsing died of great strength or whether great strength is on someone else. But he didn't play it, so he might still have great strength. Mina has her night action. She presumably doesn't search because there's a rumoured vampire hair and a desecrated soil and a third encounter I haven't yet revealed. Yeah, this hoping that she would search and get the knife eaten was really dumb. I should have just ambushed and ate the knife. I mean, it's hard in to not make mistakes, right? But yeah, should have ambushed with that spy. Right. Now, what to do? I don't want to go to C because hunters aren't yet committed into Spain. If I go to Granada, then I don't get to put down an encounter for moving there because there's a bug. So the bug works as follows. What's supposed to happen is when a hunter dies, they note which hospital they're supposed to go to in the future. They just write that down, and then they're moved from the board immediately. So Van Helsing should no longer be in Granada. Unfortunately, there's an implementation bug that Van Helsing is, when he dies, he stays in Granada, or his corpse stays in Granada, until dawn, where he gets moved to the hospital. So the process is supposed to be death, note where you're going in the future, remove from the board, then go to the hospital. And therefore, if I go to Granada, he shouldn't be there because he should be removed from the board. Whereas what the game actually does is leaves his corpse in Granada. If I go to Granada, I don't get to put an encounter, and then later teleport him to the hospital. So if I go to Granada, I don't get to put down an extra encounter. Okay. Hey, obviously we're not gonna mature Granada. Like, that clears Lisbon. That's very bad. I don't need 4 points. I want Lisbon to still be a threat. So we're gonna lair Granada. Yeah, Paul, I actually great. Yeah, I just killed Van Helsing and I'm complaining about his corpse being there. It's a bit rich. But yeah, so Granada we're going to need to lair so that it doesn't mature. Yep, we put our third Reckless Vampire in Granada. And now we decide what to do. We could go and stand on 2 Reckless Vampires, but then we don't get a third one. And then we could just lose the game to CG. I mean, we don't instantly lose, but we have to misdirect 12 if he has Consecrated Ground, because he's got two Heavenly Hosts. So he could block off, permanent block off 1 and then Heavenly Host in 34 and 26. Would be quite bad. I'd have to misdirect 12, go back there, hope I don't die. Presumably place fog so I don't die. Yeah, it'd be a bit rough if I went to Granada and got CG'd. Bit rough if I go to Madrid and get CG'd as well, but not quite as bad. I would at least have 4 places that I can move to. And I guess hunters could be occupying 3 of them. And I could be given a choice of walk onto a hunter or misdirect 12. Yeah, still pretty bad. But I don't want to go to sea yet. Lord Godalming is still in Marseille. Van Helsing is dead. Mina just has a knife. Yeah, this bodyguards idea that I had before is a dumb idea. Don't do that, because Mina still has her knife. So we're walking onto rats, and it's not a bodyguards. Stop looking at the bodyguards. They're not helping. You didn't get rid of Mina's knife. I guess it's a new vampire. I mean, it could be fog. Do we think we're getting jumped? If so, we probably would prefer to have fog. But we have a vampire instead. Vampire and rats. Yep, no need to rumour that. they can work out that there's a hoax there on their own. We need to click end turn. Hurry up. Great, there we are. Dawn. Van Helsing is in hospital. He did have a crucifix. Okay. So maybe he had an idea of like a knife into crucifix to kill the vampire if it was like plotting into fangs or plotting into mesmerize. We got 3 events off Lord Godalming, and we have renewed vigor. Excellent. So now maybe we die. Okay, good news. Mina only has 1 combat item, but she will supply a combat item, or she'll supply an item. Well, ambush of the rats, because he almost certainly he doesn't have a rifle or pistol, because like he was discarding rifles. He's discarded like all of the rifles. We'll leave the new vampire. Hope he thinks that it's fog. I'm not sure if it makes sense. Probably better just to get 2 damage in. Like, he's spent renewed vigor, he's coming anyway. Like, he's not going to play renewed vigor, not get ambushed by 1 encounter card, and then decide, yeah, actually, I've decided I don't need to send more than Lord Godalming because I don't want to get caught by fog. That just doesn't make sense. Like, they're all coming. Should we ambush with rats? Hunters have, well, between them and the remaining 6 cards in the item deck, they have like 2 pistols. So should we be not ambushing with rats? Because we think that Seward might have that pistol. Obviously, we know that Van Helsing and Mina don't have the pistol, and Lord Godalming almost certainly doesn't have a pistol because he was discarding rifles. So yeah, there was pretty decent odds that he had a pistol. So probably shouldn't have ambushed with the rats. Get 2 damage from Mina and Van Helsing. 2 damage with claws because he was obviously just going to escape. Pretty fortunate that you'd escape. If you dodged, then I don't have an an attack card that can get through escape next turn. Okay, and now it turns out it didn't matter for ambush to the rats. He stakes the vampire, and he would have searched out the rats. And Van Helsing, now knowing that it's safe to go to Madrid, walks to Madrid and supplies an item. For me, hopefully it's not a combat item. And I'm thinking, actually the odds that it's not a combat item are pretty good. Like, we've broken 1 knife already. So weapons that are left in the deck and the hunter items, there is 2 knives and 2 pistols. Other things that can hurt me is Heavenly Hosts. Hurt me if I don't interact with the hunter. 2 Heavenly Hosts. And then obviously hunters have punch. But yeah, what I'm getting at is that the random supplies with Mina and Van Helsing probably aren't weapons because Lord Godalming has already discarded most of the rifles, or all of the rifles actually, and there's 2 pistols in the bin. So we ignore Mina's second item and Van Helsing's item. We hope that Lord Godalming and Seward aren't able to kill us, and we try and catch Mina's knife because she's the person that we know who has a knife. Yes, obviously Lord Godalming, Seward, Mina all have horses, so they've got 2 combat items each, but Mina probably doesn't have a second worthwhile combat item. She's probably just running knife. Also, we don't have Escaper's Bat, but we know that providing we pick the right person, we know that we can Escaper's Bat. Both Holy Circles are in the bin, all 4 rifles are in the bin, 1 knife is in the bin. So anti-bat items, they've got at most 2. So okay, unless they're escaping with people round 2, then we know that we'll be able to, if we pick the right person, Escaper's Bat. If we have Escaper's Bat, which we might not. I don't know why we'd play Claws. I guess we could play Claws against Seward, but it doesn't seem sensible at all. We want to not die here. So could we play Strength against whoever we think is going to play a weapon? And we think Mina will play her knife, so that she has it back for round 3. We did catch Mina's knife. Knife is now gone. That's very good. So she probably doesn't have a weapon left. Like, she probably supplied like dogs, or maybe I think there's still 1 crucifix in the bin. It's like in the deck, which she might have just supplied. Shot by Seward's pistol that we knew he had, and punched by Van Helsing. Again, he probably doesn't have a weapon, but he might. If he does have a weapon, he's going to catch us with it, because we're not expecting him to have a weapon. We've just seen Seward's pistol. Between the hunters, they do have... Between the hunters and the remaining deck, they do have 2 Heavenly Hosts. So it's either Lord Godalming or Seward. Let's try and not pick the one who's going to play Heavenly Host, I guess. Because providing they don't get caught by a Heavenly Host here, I'm probably good. Like, the worst case scenario is they both... I don't play Fangs, they both play Heavenly Host. And I take... And maybe, like, Mina supplied a pistol or something. And then I'm basically dead. So, let's hope we don't get caught. Let's make sure we don't get caught by 2 Heavenly Hosts without them having managed to top deck a Heavenly Host on Mina and Van Helsing. Fangs into Punch, that's good, it heals us 1. Much better than Fangs into Knife. Van Helsing didn't draw a weapon or something that he could hit us with. And Mina presumably didn't as well. I mean, maybe she could have drawn, like... No, if she drew Knife, then she would be playing it then. Because she knows I can escape his bat against someone else in round 3. Yeah, so quick double check of the items. Make sure we're not misremembering. 2 knives at the top. That was the one that Van Helsing had when he died, or just before he died. And the 4 rifles that Lord Godalming put in the bin. And the other knife that Mina had that we broke. That is good. So we just need to... And Lord Godalming played Knife last round, and both Holy Circles are already in the bin. So just play Escaper's Bat against literally anyone, and you get to leave combat. We're in Escaper's Bat, and we've got no encounters on this square anyway, so clearing it is completely fine. I think Seward has Heavenly Host, so I'm going to check to see if he does. He did have Heavenly Host. I'm not sure if a check really achieves anything, because presumably someone's going to trade at night. But this is very good. We did not die. No, we don't want to remove a lair. Yes, we want to run away. And let's run away as fast as possible, please. Like, yeah, get me out of Spain. There is 4 hunters at basically an extremity. If I just start having a race from, like, I'm going east of the eastmost hunter, and there's lots of space to the east. Great, let's go east. Like, the board position is pretty good. Like, we're still on 8 hit points. Okay, we can't feed for a while, but that's fine if we just run away from all of the hunters. Like, the difference between this current position with all of the hunters in Madrid and if we just, like, say, teleported Van Helsing to Munich, then running east is so much... Well, it's still probably the right thing to do, but it's so much worse. Right? Like, we're running towards a hunter who will be able to efficiently clear our trail because we're running at them. Just in case we get... Oh, I completely missed what they did for night actions. Seward obviously healed and other people presumably traded. Great. If you were paying attention, you'd have noticed. Great. I moved to Marseille, and just in case we get jumped, we're going to put down fog. I don't know if hunters are going to, pull out the second renewed vigor and charge everyone to Marseille, or if we're going to pull out, like chartered carriages and fly here. Even if they don't do that, I'm pretty happy with putting fog here just as a delaying encounter. Marseille being, the fastest way out of Spain. If it gets fogged, then hopefully it's not just the hunter who is stuck in Marseille, it's all the hunters behind them who can't efficiently get to the rest of my trail because Marseille is blocked. Right, Lord Godalming is trying to deal with my hoax. Well, I'm going to tell him to instead fight 2 vampires at night. Does he have Forewarned? I hope not. If he does, he'll get to search. Like, I think it's pretty obvious that he forewarns the bats if he does have Forewarned. That's still a decent outcome for me. Like, having hunters forewarn bats, pretty good. But it would mean that, like, Van Helsing, if he did have Forewarned, he'd be able to clear all of 12 just on his own. Whereas this way I get my night fight, and then someone else is going to come, and then hopefully they don't have Forewarned, and then I get another night fight. Mina is discarding bullets. It's fine. Yep. Into the pair of vampires. He dodges the first vampire and gets met with the vampire that I put on the lair. I think we should be mesmerising here rather than fanging. Because, like, if mesmerise fangs is worth 2 points, and we also have plotting, so we could, mesmerise plot fangs, mesmerise strength fangs. But instead we go for just the 1 point. I mean, we are safer against, like, or we're better against, like, punch knife. But is Lord Godalming really playing punch? Like, he can. Like, this is the second encounter and he's escape routed past the first one. punch into claws isn't that bad, so he can punch. Yeah, not super happy with Fangs other than Mesmerizer. Hunters just so often escape in round 1 in night fights. But Fangs is fine. Sometimes you have to Fangs there, right? Otherwise, like if you have Mesmerize and you always play Mesmerize because if you have Mesmerize, then you're playing Mesmerize 60% of the time. So Hunters can just punch. Maybe they can't if you play Claws 30% of the time. Maybe you can play Mesmerize if you have it, and then Claws if you don't. But Claws into punch, you get full damage, but then you still can't follow it up with Fangs because it might become a knife. Yeah, sometimes we have to back it. We didn't get jumped. Hunters supplied and healed, and properly traded. Again, I wasn't paying attention. We want to run east. We're layering bodyguards in whatever is before Lisbon, Alicante. We layered bodyguards. We don't want bodyguards. All of the hunters have a weapon. Yeah, bodyguards don't delay them if they've got a weapon. They all have a weapon because they want to stab Dracula with a weapon, and they will train in Madrid. Apparently we need to think about this. Okay, I suppose we do have to plot our... no, I see what... We need to think because we want to make a careful account of what items the hunters have, while there's still one item in the event deck, in the item deck. Like next turn he might be supplying with, say, 2 people, and therefore we shuffle the item deck, and I want to check that my count of items that people have is correct. So they have currently 1 knife, 2 heavenly hosts, I think 2 pistols, 3 horses, and 2 stakes. And you might be like, Richard, that's only 10 items. I think we've got dogs as well. There's only 10 items. Yes, they only have like Seward, they're short items. Logadami has 3, so that's 7. And Helsing has just 1, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do I count for 11? 2 stakes, dogs, 2 pistols, 1 knife, 2 heavenly hosts, 3 horses, and we're short 1 item because there's still 1 item in the deck. So we have maybe a second dog that's in the deck. I think it's the second dog. Yes, it's 2 dogs as well. So between them they have 4 weapons, which is 2 pistols, 2 knives. They have 3 horses, 2 heavenly hosts, 2 dogs, 2 stakes, and they actually don't have one of these items because it's still in the deck. Lord Godalming has a knife because we saw that knife and he moved and didn't trade. Good. Now we need to plot our path across Europe. We put Fog in Marseille, so moving to 25 is pretty sensible, because it's so hard to get to 25 if Marseille is blocked. What do we want to put in Marseille? I think Hoax. I want to put in delay encounters that he actually has to deal with. Like, I don't want him to just be able to say, I ignore his trail, because then he can run after me pretty quickly. I want to put delay encounters to delay the people who are chasing after me. So Hoax, aristocratic vampires, other vampires are all things that I want to put down. And putting the hoax before the vampire, I think, kind of makes sense. Like, if he decides to just to let the vampire go and score 3 points and clear 3 spaces, that's a bit annoying. I'd rather put the hoax before that. Right, so Seward goes to 31. I don't ambush. He can work out what's there on his own. Mina is discarding the dogs. Okay, so we now have just 1 dog. Presumably, unless they've drawn back another one. They search Marseille. No surprises there. I have actually been to Marseille. Seward presumably searching with a stake. He fears it's a rumoured new vampire. Could be 2 rumoured new vampires. He doesn't know that. Oh no, because one of them was in Madrid. Yes, could be at most 1 rumoured new vampire. He stakes the aristocratic. That's good for me. I get my soil. I get back to bats. It's nice. I would rather keep one of the saboteurs. Yeah, rats is obviously useless. Saboteur, if he fears somewhere as a vampire, search it, delay them. Very happy with that. He clears my heavenly host, so I don't heal, and then he drops a pistol, presumably. Yes. And in fact, we almost surely knew it was a pistol because those are the only weapons that were around. Apart from Lorgadam's knife. Van Helsing and Mina are trading. So Mina now has 3 items. And Van Helsing 2. And Mina took a ticket. Because Van Helsing ran out of Van Helsing died, so we need to improve ticket economy and replace our tickets. It's been cleared, we allow it, we still don't want our bodyguards. Don't want wolves either, but fine. So, we are running away from hunters, putting down encounters that we're going to have to clear. Do we go down Italy? Or do we go through Munich? Really, I see that as the 2 choices. Like, we want to move east. We're either going down Italy into the Adriatic and then we'll form into probably Sofia. But I fear that if I do that, I end up in Sofia with like 5 hit points. If I do that, do I just like potentially die to like renewed vigor chartered carriage on Lord Godalming? Yeah, putting down a vampire. It's a new vampire, so it will presumably get a rumour token because I'm not happy with just scoring 3 points and clearing three encounters. We haven't bothered to misdirect the bat location. Now the reason I did this is because there's, as far as I'm concerned, there's no chance that I've gone to Marseille and then ran back towards 4 hunters in Spain. Like, I think I'm not even as a high variance play, hunters will never see it coming. I'm just not doing that. Hunters, if I think there's even a 1% chance, obviously we ambush with bats. He doesn't have Forewarned. He would presumably play it if he had, because he might be about to die. He knows there's 2 vampires in 26. And then Mina, realising that Van Helsing is not going to be able to deal with Cadiz, is going there to deal with it. She also knows that there's not a proper vampire there, so she can search at night without a stake. That's fine. Right, but I haven't removed I haven't misdirected the mat's location because I think Lariat is pretty good. like it will be in Hunter's way when they try and follow me east, because I got such a head start. Obviously we ambush with both Reckless, and we now try and kill Van Helsing. We've got no claws. He's got 2 items. Presumably he has items that are good for searching with. So we really might be fighting punch, dodge, escape. Hopefully no surprise crucifix or surprise heavenly host. Good. Mesmerize into escape. That's pretty perfect. So we do have plotting, we do have strength. I think he punches. He chooses not to punch. I play plotting. I remember what I was thinking. I haven't been plotting a lot this game because I think he likes to punch round 2. So I was like, I haven't been plotting a lot, maybe he'll just try and dodge. I plot into dodge. Very good. Van Helsing is mostly dead now. Obviously I take claws for plotting. Let's just get the claws resolved. Yes, you're not leaving combat that easily. Yeah, we have strength, but he can escape, so that's bad. Wait, what? Oh no, he just played escape. Great. He just played escape into our claws. So yes, we strength because he can't have escape. Probably should be... No, we can't mesmerize here because then he just dodges next turn. So we get 1 extra point by biting Van Helsing. And it was an ambush, so 1 extra point for resolving fangs. So 2 points. It's pretty good. He has a stake. So surely we should mesmerize her. Like if he escapes, I'd rather mesmerize into escape, and then hopefully we see dodge, and then we claws into... Yep. So we could have played fangs, but you know, now we've got like a coin flip of doing extra damage, and then like we can either strength or we can plot, and then we can play claws next turn. So if hunters have great strength still, they probably punch here, so that plotting doesn't resolve. And if hunters don't have great strength, they probably dodge here, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, dodge is in play, so dodge is on the board, so just play claws. And pray that we don't have great strength still. Hope that Van Helsing died of it. And Van Helsing died with great strength. Good. So we kill Van Helsing a second time. So our three reckless vampires, without maturing, have scored us 9 points. Well done, reckless vampires. Okay, and Mina deals with our hopes. Yeah. She is now delayed, and she's recently just walked in the wrong direction. so it'll be a while till she gets to us. And Van Helsing just died. And that's pretty good. Yeah, we're post reshuffle, so we don't mind what we discard. We're just choosing which location we want to discard. Presumably discarding. I mean, no one's going to go to Alicante, but they could go to Alicante. Like, Mina could have like excellent weather, and I don't know why she'd go to Alicante, but maybe. I think clearing Cadiz would have been better. Hunters are very far away, so presumably we're not being killed this turn. We also don't know where we are. We probably shouldn't be in Munich. Like 3 spaces from Munich would be Zagreb. Yep, and let's give them another delayed encounter to deal with. We don't remove a hoax because, well, if they just ignore it, that's completely fine. Maybe we should be removing the hoax to eat a... Okay, Van Helsing died with a steak, a dog, and 2 tickets. Logadamine rolls horses. Gets to Marseille. We don't ambush. Like, hopefully he can't afford to let a single vampire through now, so presumably he searches Marseille. The fear that it's aristocratic or hoax, or I think that's it. But yeah, presumably he searches. If he doesn't, then hopefully someone's still in. He has a stake. He can't stake fog. This is very good. He's heavily delayed, and Seward is also delayed by being behind. Okay, and now he's taking tickets. Now he's taking tickets to lots of people. Looks like he dropped a white 1 on Van Helsing. Very fortunate. Horses are currently taking a nap, and when they come back, they'll presumably be coming back with worse economy. Yeah. We're going to run to the castle. It's far away. I'm not concerned about getting CG'd in the castle when hunters are still in Spain. Well, technically they're in France, but they're blocked in France. Yeah. And I'm just putting down things with having run out of vampires. Do we remove Venice? It's only worth 3 points if it matures, which is enough for us to be able to win on a single Fury in week 4, but kind of prefer to win instantly. Logadamine is stuck in fog, supplies. Right, and why did we put soil in 59? Because if we don't deal with it, we get 3 health. It's still got just about time to mature. Hired scouts. Where does he check? Munich and Florence. Okay, the 2 places we were considering going, he checked both of them. Very sensible. He knows I took a little detour on my way to Munich. And presumably he guesses. So I went 25-57. Given the fog in Moscow. I was considering going 25-37, but it's worse against hired scouts on the turn that you move to 37. Because like hunters might choose to search like 60-37 or 25-37. Yeah, I don't think that the extra distance from now Seward between 57 and 37 is significant. But I do think that I am more likely to have gone to 57 because it's better against the immediate hired scouts, but I went there. I need to slide a trail. I lair. I put bats. Obviously, I don't want. None of these matter. Oh, I should clear this in case my deck reshuffles. It's not going to, but. Yeah, clearing Bernardo means that the vampires will be back in my deck. I put bats in Toulouse because, Mina might go there. And we continue running towards the castle. We save the fog for later. We've now, I guess, Saboteur. No, Spy. Spy's fine. Catch a knife, eh? But equally, they can just. It probably doesn't catch a knife. It probably just they discard their tickets and just risk drawing the white ones if they get all the way over here. They still can't move. He drops a Heavenly Host. Presumably they don't have CG, but maybe they do. Okay, Rufus Smith, learn where I am. Zagro is on the trail. Surprise. I am being very obvious, but fortunately it doesn't matter if I'm obvious if I am halfway across the world. Well, halfway across Europe. Mina starts moving and she rolls a 2, so she had a choice of going to Toulouse or taking a detour around Toulouse. She chose to presume that Toulouse was fine to go to, and that I was putting, I don't know, rats there or something. Toulouse was not fine to go to. She is getting batted back. Yeah, at this point, the game is almost surely won. Like I'm 2 steps from the castle, and hunters are like 3 steps from the castle at like best, and they've got 3. And they've got like a full trail to clear. Like it takes so much time to deal with my first 3 encounters with like a hoax, a vampire that you need to stake, and then a vampire that's going to delay you, and you can't afford to let any of them go. We're going to learn Marseille, put something there. It's not fog, although that would be hella funny. Imagine putting fog there. And just, but I'd have to ambush with it, so we probably wouldn't do anything. We continue to place vampires because he has to clear all of the vampires. Like our plan is like castle, sea, like get to the castle, don't get CG'd, go to the sea, and then he will fail to clear all of my vampires. Like it seems, like based on the positioning, it seems impossible for the entire trail to get cleared. We put a saboteur here, just obviously we have to ambush, otherwise he's just going to ignore it. Doing this to mess with the horse economy, or like slow down the horse economy being improved. He does have a rifle. He has some supplies. Mina is delayed from the bats. Knock down means searches, presumably, because otherwise I get hooks. Yep. Hunters are very far away from where I am. Life is good, the game is won. Probably. So, why did we manage to win the game? I guess we killed Van Helsing twice, which got us 7 points, and we didn't die in Madrid. We very easily could have died in Madrid. Especially when we didn't put Fog down. If I'd have been caught by the 2 heavenly hosts that he might have had, like one was in the bin, but I could have been caught by 2 extra heavenly hosts. Presumably, I don't get punched for one of those heavenly hosts. Hopefully, so I take like an extra 7 damage, and I leave the fight on 1 hit point, and then maybe he abandons the trail, and kills me. So yeah, keep putting the vampires down. We tell him where I am, but I've got 13 hit points, and he's still halfway across the map, and he still has trail, but he needs to clear. Technically, yes, he could play Renewed Vigor and have a 1v1 with me and Lord Godalming. That's fine. I've got 13 hit points. I can live through that. We don't ambush if he wants to kill it. He's spent his stake on the hoax. If he hadn't spent his stake on the hoax, then he would have been delayed and not able to come here with his stake. But he hasn't got a stake, probably, unless he had 2 stakes. Seward is deciding, presumably, whether to go and help Lord Godalming or whether to move on with the trail. And he hopes that Lord Godalming can cover it. Maybe he hopes it's an aristocratic vampire, not a new vampire. He can't be sending Lord Godalming and Seward to every location. Maybe he can afford to send Lord Godalming when he's lost, but maybe it's sensible to send Seward to where Lord Godalming is because it's rumoured and therefore probably a new vampire. And we draw the world. We have mesmerise, strength. I think we know that Lord Godalming has a knife because he walked away from Madrid without trading and he hasn't discarded a knife. So he has a horse and a knife. Then can't beat mesmerise, strength because the knife will never resolve and another escape is missed for Mantle. But then, even better than that, we'll just play mesmerise. So if we bite him, he's out of combat, and Fangs is currently in his hand. So just play Fangs, and he has to dodge. Yeah, he has a knife and he has a horse. So if he doesn't play dodge, he's out of combat. Good. I was confused at the time. This was waiting for Pizzawizard. It isn't waiting for great strength. It's waiting to decide what cards to reveal. I think. Yes, he's revealing horse and an event that we don't know. Yeah. Seward deals with Munich. That's fine. We are going to mature the vampire in Venice because we don't care about IDS. IDS means nothing to me in the league phase. In the knockouts, IDS is very important because if you get the if you do better in your 2 games, and you get to choose your role for the third game, and therefore IDS is important because I want to be hunters in the third game. But yeah, in the league phase, the IDS tiebreaker means, as far as I can tell, fairly little. Like, the median Bockholtz separates nearly all ties. Like, maybe 1 or 2 ties will come down to IDS, but I know it's not going to offend me. Right. Yeah, I could have died in Madrid. And having seen Pizzawizard's perspective, yeah, he started typing the item deck didn't. You might have died if the item deck had cooperated a bit better. And yes, I agree. I might have died if the item deck had cooperated a bit better. But yeah, good game. Well played, Pizzawizard. I was fairly fortunate. Yeah. See you around for the league phase, for the knockouts, where I think my first opponent is Ghost Wheel. So that'll be hopefully a good game. See you for that.